And 3, 2, 1. Hey, look who's back, everybody. It's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with a new 10ish-minute review. Yes, this one is based on the films that did not make the big show viewer wheel. Now, don't be bummed out. I know a lot of you are bummed out, and frankly, you did what I hoped you wouldn't do. You're whining a little bit about not making the wheel. But listen, we can only pick 10, and there was a certain criteria that needed to be followed. You had to sell the film to us. It had to be available to us to stream. And then collectively, we decided which ones that we were interested in watching. But that does not mean we are not going to watch the other films that you selected. I'm going to do that on a 10ish or 20ish-minute review. So this is just the beginning. And if someone cares that much about their viewers, don't they deserve a subscription, a notification button, a like button, maybe even a share? How about that? I think that would be great. So the first film we are going to do, the alternate of the viewer reel, is a choice Telugu film, 2019's Agent Sai Srinivasa Athreya, which of course is a detective story. Now that was recommended. This film was recommended, and please forgive me if I do not pronounce this right. Sukishamash Shizuku. Sukishamash Izuku. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to say Sukish, just to kind of abbreviate it. So I'm going to start by reading the pitch, a portion of the pitch that Sukish gave to us to watch his film. So please enjoy this dramatic reading. Here we go. I think this film has something in store for every one of you. This is a quirky mystery thriller film with some local Telugu way of jokes and sarcasm. And the main lead in the film is very charming. A really good story with really good acting and clever filmmaking. This film shall keep you thoroughly entertained. The film is based on contemporary issues and some real incidents, and they made it into a quirky mystery film. I think this film is fun. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's my dramatic. Oh, I'm sorry. Scene. Okay, so I'm going to call it Agent Sai just to kind of shorten it down to make it easier for me. But this film was directed by Swaroop Rsj, Rsj. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It stars Naveen Plishetty, who also co-wrote the film, Shruti Sharma, Krishneswara Rao, and Shahas. And I got to tell you, Naveen Plishetty, I don't think I've seen him in anything before. He was excellent in this film. I think quirky is a good way to describe this film. It definitely was quirky, and it ended up being something different than the way it started. It starts off very film noir with jazzy music that you might have seen in a 40s or 50s detective story, and was also had a little bit. I almost felt like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the film Airplane or movies like Police Squad. I thought it was going to be kind of like that because when you first see him, his shoes are up on the desk and he's got the word agent written down his sole of the shoe. So I was like, well, what exactly is this? And it ends up, it's more like a Sherlock Holmes story. And Dr. Watson is played by a female who's actually very good in this, who calls him agent all the time. Never calls him by his first name, just agent. So I really like that. But it definitely it went a different route. Now at the beginning, they reference all these movies. They reference The Usual Suspects, Catch Me If You Can, a bunch of Drisham, which I'll get to on how they got Drisham involved. So I thought that was really cool. And he always refers to things that happen in detective movies and TV shows. That's why he does certain things as a detective, which, was kind of funny. So again, so it seems like it's almost a surreal kind of story that's going to be funny. And it was funny. But I really liked him a lot. And this is a character that I would like to see in another film. I have no idea how this movie did. I would like to think it did well because I found it kind of charming, to use your words, and quirky. But I really did like it. So then you go on, and he whenever he enters this crime scene, he holds up a thing that says he's from the FBI. They go, the FBI? Why would the FBI be here? And he goes, the Fatima Bureau of Investigation. Fatima was a girl he used to date. Ha ha ha. So that was funny. And every time he solves a case, we live in the world of social media. He takes a selfie of him and the person that crime he solved, right? And that comes to play at the end too, which I'll get to later on. And there's going to be spoilers here. This movie came out in 2019. And it is a detective story, but that really wasn't, the detective story wasn't the big thing about this film. Okay. It was definitely the quirky characters. But anyway, now it did have serious overtones in it. In fact, the real crime, which I'll get to in a minute, is very serious. And from what I understand, because at the beginning of the film, they say this is not a true story, but it's based on real incidents. So this is something that is happening in India. So it took a much different turn. And in the moments where it was serious, the cinematographer tinted everything green. So you knew when that was happening, we were in serious moments, which I thought was interesting. Now, I brought up Drishem. At one point, he's got to give somebody an alibi. So he starts describing the alibi that was used in Drishem. Now, if I never saw Drishem, then I wouldn't catch that, and it wouldn't mean anything to me. But because I've seen Drishem, both versions, by the way, the Bollywood and the Telugu version, I think that's what it is, or Tamil version, I'm not sure. I knew it. So give me brownie points for that I recognize that. And it made me laugh, right? Because it was taken right out of a movie, because that's what this guy does. Okay. So the other thing he did was, whenever he would try to distract somebody, right? He's trying to get out of something or distract somebody. He starts talking super fast, like a salesman. And he doesn't take a breath. And it's really funny when he does it. And he also does these things on the phone where he raises his voice, really, not like a woman, but he does raise it really high to disguise his voice, which is funny. He's also very Sherlock Holmes when he goes into a crime scene and starts looking at everything around. He picks out these little things that no one else sees. So there's very, and she is like Watson to him. And she was great too, because in the beginning, she's kind of nerdy with glasses. And then she gets rid of the glasses and lets her hair down. And she was wonderful. Their chemistry was really nice. At one point, he goes in jail and he's doing yoga with all the prisoners, just relax, just chill, which was funny. The other thing about the film, in Telugu films I've noticed, the music is relentless. Okay. It's almost to the point that I find it a little distracting in a lot of the films. In this film, it actually works, because in film noir, you hear jazzy scores throughout the entire film, and they were going for that with this film. So it worked. And where it got serious, the music did not have that film noir vibe to it. Okay. It was a more serious background music, but it didn't distract me in any way. It kind of added to the environment that they were trying to create. So I like that. At one point, he's got to work with another detective who is just like him, a famous detective from wherever he's from. But they're both kind of do stupid things. So the woman who's his Watson says at one point, I wrote this down because I thought it was so funny. She talking about detectives. She says to the other detective, it seems like there's a moron in every state. And her point was, there must be moronic detectives in every state. I thought that was funny. So now it gets to the heart of the story and the mystery. And there are murders happening, right, throughout the film, but there's also murders by railroad tracks. So you think the movie is about solving those murders, but it turns into a much deeper religious crime that is occurring than just murders. So apparently, in the Indian culture, someone who dies has to be cremated within 3 days. Something about their soul. I don't quite understand it. Maybe in the comment section, you guys can explain it. So they steal things from the bodies, fingerprints. I don't know about organs, but definitely fingerprints for criminals, terrorists. And then they dump them on the railroads. And the railroad's policy is they have to be cremated within 3 days once they're found. So in their minds, they're still doing the family's wishes, just with a detour. And the really slap in the face for Agent Sai is he comes to the realization that this was done to his mother. And it really weighs on him heavily throughout the film. And so it really it really pivoted to something pretty serious that apparently is actually happening in India, because at the end they show headlines, actual headlines, I assume, because in my research I see that, yeah, this is something that has been an issue. So it took a pause from all the quirkiness, but they go right back to it, because once they solve the crime, and who it was doing this is much less of a deal than how they discover who the people are. But the thing they did at the end, which I loved, he solves it, and believe me, he got tricked in a bunch of different directions, but he finally figures out who really did it, and he solves it, and they confront the bad guys, and he takes a selfie, and he says, wait, I want to get this right too. He holds it up and says, give me an arrested face. And then they take the selfie. It was great. So they ended on a real quirky note. Oh, the other thing he does, he's got a coffee cup, because detectives always have coffee cups, right? They're always drinking coffee. Now, there's no coffee in it, but he has it the whole film. And usually when he gets knocked out of a crime scene, the cup comes flying, and then he comes flying after it. So that's great. That's a thing throughout the movie. So at the end, there's an after credit scene, and him and the woman playing his Watson are in the car, and they're having an argument about something. And they start talking about Bahubali, which, of course, I have seen Bahubali 1 and 2, so I got the reference. And it ends, this is how it ends. He's trying to shut her up a little bit. So now he turns and says to her, the reason Katapa killed Bahubali, and then it freezes. And that's how the movie ends. And I'm sitting there going, I want to know why Katapa killed Bahubali. But I was also proud of myself because I knew what he was talking about. So I got the reference. So I'm watching a lot of Indian films. Apparently, I got the Drishyam reference. I got the Bahubali reference. So yeah, I give this 4 Ladoos. I really like this. It was very different, very quirky, unlike anything I've seen in an Indian film. I love this Naveen Plishetty. I don't know what else he's done, but I thought he was excellent in this. And again, I'm going to use Sukish, their word, which was charming. He was very charming, funny, and when he had to be serious, he was. So yeah, 4 Ladoos from me. So that's our first one, and a great choice. I hope you enjoyed that. Now the next film I'm going to do, I was going to do another one off the list, but I'm going to skip one and then do another one off the list because something came up on my Netflix queue. And as everyone knows, one of my favorite actresses, no, not Kareena Kapoor. I'm a big fan of hers, but not for her acting, if you know what I'm saying. But Taboo, who I have seen in Andhadhun, Hader, Drishyam, and Bola, who I think is a wonderful actress. Well, in Netflix, a movie came up, which is Kufaya, which came out in 2023. It came out this year. It's a new film, and it's about terrorism and a mole and betrayal, and Taboo's the lead in it. So I'm going to watch that, and I'm going to do my next 10ish minute review on that. And, there's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch that. So, okay, so we'll get these out pretty quickly for you. And we got the big show coming on Tuesday with the new viewer wheel. So please check that out. And as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification button, smash that like button. And if you think people out there would like this, please share it. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. And this is Agent John Q signing off till next time.